Welcome to Channel 6 News on TV Villa Park. We bring you the day-to-day information you need to be informed and plan for the future. Our focus will be on information we share about Villa Park residents and Villa Park business. Villa Park is changing in a historic way. 3 long-running businesses are leaving the village, and all of them are located on Villa Avenue. One of the oldest business locations that is ending its over 100-year run is Pioneer Garden and Feed. Pioneer Garden and Feed has been on Villa Avenue since 1918. For many years, the business provided feed for farm animals, supplies, and much more. For a long time, the business was operated by a family that was able to provide gardening supplies and feed products to residents in Villa Park. That tradition continued when the most recent owners, Angie and Tony Rojek, bought the business. Pioneer Garden and Feed maintained its status on Villa Avenue until last week, when the location could no longer be continued. Also on Villa Avenue, Cherokee Embroidery started their exit from the business district. This time to make room for a new apartment development on the property.
Which is a proclamation.
The business owner, Nancy Woodruff, was recognized at a recent Villa Park board meeting for her impact on the village, and more specifically, the business owners along Villa Avenue.
But this proclamation reads, whereas Nancy Woodruff is a lifelong resident of the village of Villa Park, and whereas Nancy Woodruff has been an instrumental part of the Villa Park business community as the owner of Cherokee Rose for 30 years and is a founding member of the Villa Avenue Business Association. And whereas Nancy Woodruff was always willing to share her time and talents to support the Villa Park community. And whereas Nancy Woodruff has been instrumental in the very successful Trick or Treat Down the Street event. And whereas Nancy Woodruff was a friend to Willowbrook High School, providing her talents and patience so many times. And whereas Nancy Woodruff truly exemplifies the noble endeavor to leave a place better than one found, and in doing so, inspires all of us to do the same. And whereas the Village of Villa Park, its Board of Trustees and staff would like to recognize and express appreciation for Nancy Woodruff's contribution to the betterment of Villa Park. Now therefore I, Nick Cazzone, President of the Village of Villa Park, along with the Board of Trustees, do hereby deem it an honor to present this proclamation to Nancy Woodruff in recognition of dedicated service to the village, and wish her the very best as she begins her next adventures.
The third business that ended its run in Villa Park is the Odeum on the north end of Villa Avenue. For 40 years, the Greco family hosted many events at the Odeum, including indoor soccer, indoor football, dog training, rodeos, concerts, crafts, and furniture expos, along with religious, political, and business meetings. TV Villa Park was at the Illinois Prairie Path and Gazebo for the free Shakespeare play Much Ado About Nothing. The Villa Park production company, St. Genesius, had 4 performances, and the last performance was recorded for those who were not able to attend. We will be announcing a special program to bring this wonderful comedy and amazing performances to the TV Villa Park network. There were more special events in Villa Park. National Night Out was celebrated by the Villa Park Police Department at the Illinois Prairie Path last week. The police department had free food and face painters, balloon artists, and tours of police vehicles for the residents of Villa Park. A week later, just across the street at Fuel and Cream, a fundraising event for Friends of Freya raised money for children with autism. At the event, 2 special guests paid a visit. Let's take a look. This last weekend, the Villa Park Village Department brought their trucks and equipment to the parking lot next to the Great Western Trail at Villa Avenue. The Big Rigs and Kids event is always a favorite event for families to bring their children to see everything from garbage trucks and front-end loaders to snowplows, fire engines, and more.
Perfect.
Let's see. Show me.
On Tuesday, a former resident of Villa Park will celebrate his 100th birthday. Edward Bye will reach the milestone on August 16th. Edward was a member of the United States Coast Guard during World War II, and he was at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii just days after the attack that started the war in the Pacific. He was also at the battles for the Philippines before moving to the Atlantic coast to search for German U-boat submarines along the eastern coast of the United States. Coming in the weeks ahead, we will be covering activities at our local schools, including athletic programs. As a starting point, we began our coverage by attending the Willowbrook Junior Warriors basketball camp and spoke to the group's president, Mike Rodriguez. Okay, with me is a friend from many years ago. In fact, I think I was your coach, right, Mike?
When I was 7 or 8 years old in BPYB, yeah.
And look, he's a lot taller than me now. Mike Rodriguez, who is the president of the Willowbrook Warriors Junior Basketball Program. And it is a feeder program for the athletics program at Willowbrook High School. And the important thing is we are getting access to these kids that are going to be future warriors all the way down to third grade, right?
Correct,
In the league that we're talking with?
Absolutely. Starting in third grade all the way through 8th grade, we're working with these kids to set the foundation for them as they get into high school.
Now, this is the boys basketball program that we're talking about today. And you just mentioned a few minutes ago when we were chatting that the girls and the boys are part of this. They have separate leagues, separate schedules, but they're really getting more and more coordinated.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've operated independently between the boys and the girls leagues for the last 15 years. The idea is that by the time they get to Willowbrook, we want to make sure that whether you're a boy or a girl basketball player, that we're all speaking and learning the same game, right?
Yeah.
Because again, as a feeder program, the idea is that we're preparing them to win basketball games in high school. Not necessarily at the youth level, we're setting that foundation to make them successful in high school.
Okay, so you mentioned setting the same objective as you go through these programs at these years with the kids from 3rd and 8th grade. How much do you coordinate with Willowbrook High School?
Yeah, that's a great question. And to date, probably not as much as we should have or could have. And I would even take it a step back and say, for the boys and the girls, even at the middle school level, we want to make sure that we're all in lockstep in terms of what we're doing, right? We don't want to have the junior warriors doing one thing and the Jackson or Jefferson or Albright middle school coaches saying something different.
Yeah.
Same with the high school as well, right? So making sure that at 7th, 8th, freshman, sophomore, all the way up to varsity, we're all talking the same thing.
Okay. Thank you for watching. I'm Al Stash. This has been your Villa Park News.